Welcome to The Actor's Choice, where the actors and actresses have a chance to talk about themselves and their careers. Join us now for the next hour as we explore the marvelous industry of acting by actors and actresses from today's exciting show business world. And now, direct from Hollywood, here's your host, Ron Brewington.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Brewington, and welcome to The Actor's Choice. Roll it, Tony.
Forever lovely, hit and run, complained she wasn't having fun, so I purchased a pulsating shower head. There with the sun, the fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, my first guest today is a veteran actor who has been in numerous TV and film projects, including Security, Crimes of the Past, Somewhere Slow, Doubt, Life in Pieces, and many, many others. He's a veteran. And he currently has 5 films, I understand, which are either in post-production, completed, or announced. The man is working. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Bill Idrissi. Bill, greetings and welcome to The Actor's Choice.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ron. Wonderful to be here.
Thank you, sir. Nice way to start off the week is to have you as a guest on our show. But please tell us where you were born.
So I was born in the borough of Manhattan of New York City and promptly transited over the 59th Street Bridge to my home in Jackson Heights, Queens, where I was raised.
Right.
2 loving parents.
Did I hear you say you was born and raised in Manhattan? Did I hear that? And went to Queens, and then that too?
Well, yeah. The hospital was in Manhattan, so that's what my birth certificate says. That's why I always tease my Queens friends. I wasn't born in Queens. I was born in Manhattan. Just brought up in Queens.
Bill, I got something to tell you. You ready for this?
Sure.
I was born in New York City.
All right.
Uptown Manhattan, go Harlem. I was born there.
There you go. There you go.
When I saw where you were born and raised, I said, hey, one of the brothers. Indeed. One of the brothers. Indeed. My goodness. It's so wonderful to, when you go to New York City, you have a chance to see a lot of different things. So, you know, when we're in New York City, I just have a whole, I'm like you said earlier, I need to get back there because when you way out here in California, I love it.
Yeah.
Love LA. I mean, I love New York. What Frank Sinatra said?
If you can do it there, you can do it anywhere, baby.
Anywhere.
That's it. That's it.
What made you get into acting, sir?
Well, I'll try and make it's a very long story. I'm going to condense into virtually nothing for you and tell you this. Okay. I had a friend who was a producer in Seattle where I was living, and he would continually ask me to be involved in these little projects he was doing. And one particular day, one film he was working on that I showed up, and he said, hey, we're short an actor. SAG didn't send us an actor, so we need you to step in and be an attorney. Since you're dressed in a suit, you can pull that off. And the director was there, and he said, I want to give you a couple of lines. And he gave me the first line to say, and it was, councilman, stop badgering the counselor. And he said, what do you think? And I said, I don't think you could say councilman and counselor in the same sentence. He said, well, how would you say it? And I said, councilman, stop badgering my client. And he goes, oh, I like that. Write that in. And that was my first credit. And I had no idea what I was doing, but the bug bit that day.
Oh, that's great. That's because all those years that you were in Manhattan, you'd go downtown, I'm sure. As they say, downtown, uptown, crosstown.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And see Broadway. Remember Broadway?
Yeah. I had not a single corpuscle in my veins was an acting a bug involved until that occurred. It was like it was waiting for it to happen, you know.
Okay. Let's take it to you now. 2003, your first IMDb film actor credit for a film called A Relative Thing.
Yep, that was the one. That was the one that I played the attorney on. And then that one led me to a woman who saw that movie with my now wife. Said where they were doing dinner theater. Awful takeoff on The Sopranos. It was called The Altos, like The Sopranos, only lower. It was so awful. And they said, hey, that guy would make a good Christopher for our troupe. And my wife, who knew me well enough to say, I don't think he'll ever do that, but I did.
And the rest is history, indeed. Indeed. Fast forward to 2009, you did a movie called The Scratch. Remember that one?
Yeah, yep. That was a feature film, my first major feature film where I played part of an ensemble. It was awesome. Jorge Suarez directed it. Jolene Osteen wrote it. It was a really great film. We shot it over 30 days in Seattle, I think 28 days. And it went, as far as you could go with a feature film with a budget of, I think, $7,000.
Guess what? We just happen to have a clip. Roll it, Tony.
Oh boy.
You do what you're told. Or would you rather I go on your job and you stay here and file old paperwork?
It's all bitch work to me.
Look at that, brought tears to his eyes, brought him back.
Oh my God, I haven't seen that in a million years. I was a lot heavier then.
Oh yes,
I was a much bigger guy. Yeah, but it was.
I do my homework, and I ran up on that. I said, "Ooh, I think he'd like to see that." And let people see it.
Did. Yeah, okay. You did. That's too much. That's funny.
Fast forward, sir. 2012. You got a role in a short comedy movie called Shorty and Morty.
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood at stake. You played the role of a fella named Razor.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that one?
I sure do. I remember that like it was yesterday. Eva Marie Frederick came to me. We knew each other through mutual friends, and she came to me and she said, I want you to come and do this thing. And I read the script. She sent me the script, and I remember calling her up and saying, Eva Marie, I have no idea what the hell you're going for with this. I don't understand it, but I respect your artistry, and I would love to be a part of it. And I showed up, and we shot it behind a restaurant in Hollywood. And then we did a follow-up bit, too, with a wonderful writer named James Moore, who was off camera, and we did an interview with Razor as part of it. But, yeah, that was a lot of fun.
We just happened to have a clip of you when you were Razor. Roll it, Tony!
Yep.
Please tell me I didn't see you drinking rubbing alcohol in my office.
You didn't see me drinking rubbing alcohol in your office. This is purely to keep away the scabies and the other vermin that congregates in this establishment.
Let's get started, Razor. How long have you been homeless?
Longer than that dimwit Zippy I saw zipping out of here. Mayor of the homeless.
Wow, Phil, you have done some work in your days.
Too funny.
Definitely. In fact, can you tell people about the film the cut that we did when we opened up the show? Yes.
And I'm actually not even sure which one you used.
Get out of the shower.
The most recent one I did with
yes.
Thank you. Sorry,
Tell about that, please.
Yeah, that was again another thing where Eva Marie's doing a series of these videos to some music that she wrote with another gentleman, a musician, and she came to me and told me the concept. I once again told her, I'm not sure I understand what you're doing, but again, I respect your artistry tremendously, and I will do whatever I can to help you. And she called me up and she said, I want you to come do this. I want you to play the husband. And she laid it out, and I said, okay, you got it. And we did it. We shot that all in one day, that whole bit, my part anyway. And it was, again, another opportunity. She always gets the most creative people to work with.
Yes, she does.
It's amazing.
She's probably watching this right now.
Yeah, well, of course. And but she really, it's uncanny because it takes a lot of will, to go through and make something that really is in your heart, that speaks to you, and to make it with the right people. It's not easy. It's really not.
Right. But you are a veteran actor. You've been there, done that.
Keep going. Keep on moving.
Wow.
Yeah.
Here's a good one for you. Please tell us about Hamlet.
Hamlet's my dog.
Right.
Hamlet was a rescue. He's a Boston Terrier pug mix. He was roaming the streets of Compton. A rescue agency in Elsinore ended up with him out in Lake Elsinore. And when I found out about it, I decided, well, Elsinore, right, from the play, we'll call him Hamlet. And then when we got him home and found out that he was from Compton, my wife said, is it too late to change his name to Dr. Dre? And I said, absolutely too late. We're calling him Hamlet.
Hope Dr. Dre ain't listening to this. Straight out of Compton, is this?
That's
Straight
it,
out of
brother.
Compton.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, but we're dog people. We do very much love our dogs.
Right. I always tell people there's two kinds of dogs. They say, what do you mean? There's two-legged dogs and four-legged dogs, so take your choice.
Yeah, I'm talking a four-legged guy.
Indeed. Now, I see you're very busy, sir. You got 2 short films in post-production. You got 2 films which were announced. You have another film called Cage. That's right now complete.
Yeah. That just I did a voice bit on that for that wonderful young lady, Brittany, who put that together. Was actually in a film I did with Mark Hensley called Uncut.
Yes.
Which is a film that was in direct response to the Texas abortion bill. It's kind of a dystopian film, but it's going around right now. It's in a bunch of festivals. It's already taken a bunch of awards for best film, best short. And Mark is an amazing filmmaker. He's another one that I do a lot of work with. We're actually in pre-production right now on 2 projects. A feature that will be coming up that's going to be following 2 female serial killers, and another short that we're doing that I'm finishing the writing on. So we're busy with Mark. Yeah, great stuff.
I hate to say this, but please tell us the secret. There's a lot of people who are out of work. How do you do it?
You know, honestly, I think you did a really great job, Ron. I got to give you hats off. You didn't talk about any of the network stuff. You talked about what I consider to be the really important stuff, which is the independent stuff. That's critical. You know, I don't think I would be anywhere near as successful as I have been without having participated in these. I hate the word smaller. In these independent projects with these impassioned filmmakers like Eva Marie Frederick, like Mark Hensley, like Jorge Suarez, those people who are out there putting their own money out, using their own equipment, calling in favors, begging, borrowing, and stealing whatever it is they need, because that's where you hone the craft. Whatever your craft is in this business, if it's acting, if it's producing, if it's writing, if it's directing, it's out there in those little independent projects where the metal is really hardened. And that's what you bring to these auditions, to these network shows, and to these larger films. They don't want to develop you, but they want you to develop on your own. And part of that is doing these other projects. And that's where my passion really is.
Gotcha. What do you tell people who want to get into this business?
You know, my first acting coach, Sal Romeo, I'll never forget it. He gave me the classic one. He said, "Is there anything else in the world you want to do that you can do?" And I said, "No, I can't think of it." He goes, "Oh, that's too bad." So if you're sure this is what you want to do, if you've really got the bug and there isn't anything you can imagine doing but this, then go in and do it. Both feet first, burn all the bridges behind you. I had another friend of mine who suggested he tried it and he decided it was going to be a hobby. And I thought, that's great. If you want this to be a hobby, then treat it like a hobby. But if you want it to be your profession, you have to treat it like a profession, and you have to come at it as a professional, and you have to swing at every pitch, no matter what. You know, basic business skills. I spent 30 years in 25 years in sales, marketing, and business development, having nothing to do with acting. And all of that training and all of that discipline, I apply to my acting business because it is a business. And that's how I pursue it.
Do you see yourself being a director at any time in the future?
No, I really, no, I don't think I have the type of temperament to really direct. Directing is a very fine art of really herding cats. I can see myself producing things, but actual directing, I'll be honest, I think that seeing a scene in your head is a gift. I don't have that gift. I do have the gift of losing myself in a role, which is why I'm an actor, but I don't have that thing that brings all of that together in my head that I know directors I've worked with, like Jorge and like Eva Marie, have had and displayed, you know.
Bill, I'm sorry, but we're out of time. I most sincerely thank you for being on our program today. continuous success in your career, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Brewington. We'll talk soon again, I'm sure.
I'm sure, and we'll get you back again.
All right. Thanks, my friend. Have a great day.
You do the same. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Idrissi. This is the Actor's Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. Roller Tony. I'd like to let you know that we're asking our Actor's Choice squad to help us get former baseball player Curt Flood into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Now, Curt, who passed away January 20th, 1997, was the husband of one of our wonderful guests, comes all the time, renowned actress Judy Pace. So all you got to do is contact our office at 213-349-3941. That's 213-349-3941. Ladies and gentlemen, we sincerely thank each and every one of you for being a part of this magnificent award for a great baseball player. Brother Tony.
And then it is 1987, and here you are. Too soon. Last name, Valles Morales. First name, Jesus. Middle name, Ivan. Country of citizenship, Mexico. Country of birth and nationality, Mexico. At the exact moment of your birth, your mother is a legal resident of the United States, giving birth to the body of a Mexican. One side of the river makes you a thing.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, my next guest today is a Mexican immigrant editor. That's an editor, storyteller, and performer. He likes to write poems, and over the years, he's received honors for his skills. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jesus Ay Dios. Greetings, Jesus. Welcome to the Actor's Choice.
Hey,
good. Like that out there. Got like that out there. Looking G-O-O-D. You've heard that one before. It's looking good, but we spell it another way. I see that you are here today to talk about a play that you're doing right now. But before we get into that play, sir, please tell our audience where you were born.
Sure. I was born in Ciudad Juárez, Chihuahua, Mexico. And then when I was 9 years old, I migrated to El Paso, Texas.
Yes.
And so I spent quite a bit of my life in the American Southwest, mostly in Texas.
Okay. You're in the business. What got you into it?
I think the thing that what got me into it and what's kept me in it, I think, are different things. Which I think what got me into it was a curiosity to return to theater, because I did it in high school and then I left it when I graduated.
Yes.
And I found that as I got older, I really wanted to go back to something that felt like it was feeding my soul. It felt like it was feeding my spirit. And so I think I returned to it when I was 27. I'm 35 now.
Don't look it.
And yeah, I think what's kept me in it has definitely been the connections I've made and other artists and collaborators who I've met, who I think are also doing really, really valuable, life-affirming work.
Yes.
In theater.
You do good work. You do. When you look at the work, I was going over your bio, I said, he does this, he does that. How many characters do you do, sir?
I'm very much willing to play whatever is offered. So
yes.
In the solo show, I think I'm playing myself primarily, but I end up with about 12 other characters in the show.
Got you. Jesus, from where you sit, what is the current situation for Latino performers in this business?
Yeah, it's an interesting situation. I think over the last few decades, we've learned that Latina representation on screen and on film still looks disproportionate to our population amount, right? Like there are more Latina folks in the U.S. than we might see on film or on television. And I think that is often a question that we have to take up with, big time studios and big time producers and big time outlets and streaming services. And I think one of the wonderful things that's led to is I think a lot of people have been encouraged to say, let me make the work I want to see. Let me tell the stories that I want to be in. Let me get the story right. And I think that, for me, is one of the best things about about troubling times, right? I think in troubling times, people who have inspiration and spark will take that opportunity to really create work that I think brings light to the world and to population. So for me, I think this moment has been fantastic in that it's inspired so much fantastic new work.
As I can see from your resume, you're very, very proud of your culture, and it shows. And it shows. Thank you. Thank you. One of the things you do is that you did a Lambda Literary Award. You got one of those in 2019.
Yeah, I was a Lambda Literary Fellow in poetry.
Yes. Can you tell our viewers what that's all about?
Sure. So the Lambda Literary Foundation is a literary foundation that has worked out of Los Angeles and New York, but also across the country for a number of years now. And what they do is they try to really focus and support new voices of LGBTQIA community members and writers. So as somebody who identifies as queer and as a migrant, I really was I think I was really hungry to share space with like-minded folks and to create in a room of people who would get it. You know, I think sometimes it's when you make art, you really want to feel heard and seen in the fullness of who you are. And I think Lambda Literary is really fantastic at allowing people to really see themselves. So I got to study with Dinesh Smith, who's an incredible poet. And they were really, really generous in a room of 11 other poets who were also really fantastic. And I'm so grateful for that opportunity.
Indeed. As I was going through your resume, I discovered that you and I have something in common. You went to California State University, Long Beach.
I did.
Where was you when that stuff came out? Where was you? My goodness. I don't want to tell my age, but I remember when I went to school there, that building they have, it looks like an inverted pyramid. It wasn't there. It wasn't there. That was parking lot.
Yeah.
I don't want to repeat my age though. You have a master's in communications.
I do.
So do I in communications. Yes.
Hey.
Yes.
All right.
Communications is such a wonderful spirit. People don't know how to talk to each other. They're just so afraid. They won't talk to you. Like I said about your culture, being into your culture. I'm a professor over at Santa Monica College, and we always talk about culture. Knowing your culture, staying with it. Find out other people's cultures, but know your culture. You walk up to a lot of people and say, do you know about this, and this? No, I never heard of that. Well, where you been? That's your culture, dude. Wake up. Smell the roses, my goodness. We have a videotape that we want to show you. Tony, can you go ahead and roll that next tape for us, please, sir?
Three of us. We sat in the darkness at the end of the world and its beginning. There, where we began and ended everything. Clotho spun the thread, and my lachesis, slow middle sister to dispense the string, come, handed, I'd say. Scissors ready for the peon, the poet, the prince, cut. All the same in my hand.
Outstanding. You can see it just oozing out of you. You came here today to talk about a play. Can you tell us about it, please?
Yes. First, thank you so much for having me and for this opportunity. I really love being in dialogue with you for the last few days.
Of course, don't forget that lady we always talk about. What's her name? Lucy Pollock?
Lucy, yes.
That lady.
Tremendous.
Yes.
Pandemic.
Yes.
Yeah. So Lucy works with the Latino Theater Company, which is where my solo show Undocuments is currently being produced at the Los Angeles Theater Center in downtown LA, running from October 12th we opened to November 20th, which is when we'll close. And the show is an autobiographical solo show, so it is based on my life and my experiences coming to the United States as an undocumented person. So my parents brought me to the United States when I was 9 years old, and I lived undocumented for a number of years. And eventually the show really gets at what it means to have a government intervene in the very private life of the specific family. I had a brother who was deported in 2008 and a second brother who was deported in 2009. And I think even at that, even early on, one, I was angry because I love my brothers and I miss them very much. But two, I think I was also really puzzled by how easily a government can keep families apart, how easily something as fickle as papers can change the structure of a family. And so the solo show really was wrought and written out of that particular love and that desire to have a family that was together again. So that's the show, and it's currently running at the LA Theater Company.
I can feel you as you're talking. I'm a minority myself. Back when I go back in history and look at what slaves had to go through, and sometimes, and that's what I talk about culture. When you talk to some of the younger people and say about, like I said, about this and that, slavery. What's that? I want to talk about that. One of those things, just one of those things. Okay.
Right.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say that, I think that's also one of those conversations that we don't often have, which is that so many of our citizenship laws, right? Like, and the way that our country is structured, yes, all of it dates back to enslavement and the codes and systems that were used to enslave and dispossess people. So,
indeed.
Yeah.
Tony just put up a little show that shows you the credits for the people that's on this play. Thank you, Tony. Rudy Ramirez. Tell us about Rudy.
Yeah, Rudy's a fantastic director. They first saw me perform poetry at a show at a cultural center in Austin, and after that show, they were like, "Hey, I think you're an actor," and I was like, "I don't know, man. All right, sure," and was kind enough to bring me in and give me some opportunities. So I did 3 other plays with Rudy as the director, and in 2017, Rudy heard me read 20 poems that will eventually become this show. And Rudy said, I think this is a solo show. And what was fantastic about that is that Rudy was really helpful in shepherding the whole process. Rudy has directed the piece from inception, and has traveled with it every time we've done it in Austin, in San Antonio, and now here in Los Angeles. So they're a marvelous director. They're currently doing their master's degree out in Massachusetts, in Amherst. So
education, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Got a couple of photos of you. Tony, could you give us the first one there? Look at you.
Yes.
Look at you. I know that guy.
Yeah. This is actually from Undocuments from the show, and it's where I talk about the first time my parents met. My parents met on accident. They'd had a little too much to drink at a dance. And so I talk about how they met during the show, and that's from a production of this show in 2020.
Right. Next one, please. There it is.
That would be me and Fran Drescher. So the very first thing that I ever bought when I was brought to the United States was actually a magazine that had Fran Drescher on the cover. I was obsessed with The Nanny as a child, even in Mexico. So Fran Drescher was my Statue of Liberty.
Gotcha. Nothing wrong with that. Here you go. Here's another one.
Yeah, that is still from about midway through the show, when I become a naturalized citizen, and I talk about the sort of tension and trouble of what it means to accept citizenship to this country.
I like the special use of color that's used there. That's good. That's great. Gives that a great essence.
Yeah.
We just happen to have a small clip. Roll it, Tony. But again, we have another picture of. Oh, okay. Look at that. Can you move your head? There we go. Oh,
I got it now, Ron.
Okay, go.
Here we go.
You don't recognize your mouth? Not Spanish, but something from like Disney movies. It was the first spell you ever cast, and you were happy to practice. Many. Lie. The many. Folded hand. Cross-legged. Good boy. American. It was the first lie you ever told another man. Like this.
All right. I understand. We have the next picture that we have is an outside view of the Latino Theater Company at LATC. Last week we had Ben Guillory. Last week he also has his program inside of that building. So it's it's an old bank. A lot of people don't know that's an old bank.
Yeah,
but it gets a lot of use. And who is the gentleman who runs that LATC? I forget his name.
Jose Luis Valenzuela, I believe.
Oh yeah,
the artistic director.
Oh yeah, we had him as a guest on the show a long, long time ago. A very busy man for his country, for himself, for what he's doing. You can't say enough about that gentleman.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We got the next picture. Can you show us that the next one? Oh, there it is again. October 12th through November 20th. That is going to be a great. Now, can you tell us again where the location is, how you get tickets, blah 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 blah.
Sure. Yeah. So the location is in downtown LA. It's at 514 South Spring, I believe. So it's right on South Spring Street. And tickets can be found at the Latino Theater Company's website. So you can just type in Latino Theater Company, and the show should come up as the show for the season.
Yes.
Tickets can be found for $10 on Thursdays, and you can also get $20 tickets for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with the code DREAMER.
How's the run doing so far?
It's going well. It's going well. It's been wild. A lot of my, I grew up loving solo performance, and a lot of my solo performance like heroes have shown up. I had Tim Miller come to the show last Friday. Christina Wong, who just was nominated for the Pulitzer Prize, was there a few weeks ago. Jose Torres Tama. So it's been really wild to sort of see all of these people that I've been really inspired by come through and witness the show.
Here's a crazy question. What inspires you the most about this play?
Yeah, I don't think that's a crazy question at all. That's a great question. I think what inspires me most is this. Every time I perform it, I'm performing, there are moments where I perform my mother, I perform my father, I perform my sister, I perform my brother. And I think one of the special things about theater is that it allows us to make impossible things happen. And so to be able to perform as my brother for those few moments, in some ways, feels like I'm bringing him back to this country, which I think has been the best thing about it.
One time, a telephone number or any other more information about this play that people can need to know to get a ticket.
Oh, the front for the company?
Yes. For your show. You undocuments?
Yes. So they can go to latinotheaterco.org, and you can get in touch with them via their website. They also have a Facebook page as well as an Instagram page. Let me see if I can find a phone number for them.
Okay. Undocuments. You still got about 2 more weeks on this play, so this and maybe probably might extend it, which would be nice.
It'll be this weekend next, and then we will close because I've got to head back to Rhode Island.
Oh, okay.
The phone number for the theater is 213-489-0994.
Jesus, I want to thank you for bringing marvelous information about you and your career. All I can say is continue success in what you do. And please thank your publicist, Lucy Pollock.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah, she's something else. We just got a message that the gentleman who's coming behind you hasn't shown up yet. He'll be here in a few minutes. Is there anything else you would like to tell us about what it is that you've been doing on other things you'd like to do? I know you are shipping material, different things like that. Here's a question I always like to ask. What's the most reward you get out of this business?
Yeah, I think the most rewarding thing really has been connecting with other artists. I mean, truly, it's been a pleasure talking to you, of course.
Yes.
But I also, I do want to make a sort of super quick plug. So this weekend, I got to meet with Alex Alfaro, who is an LA local and another actor, who's also doing a solo show called Wet, a documented journey, which is at the Greenway Court Theater. So in the spirit of sort of, cross-promoting and also supporting each other, if people can go check out this show as well, Wet, a documented journey at the Greenway Court Theater, that would be fantastic. Alex is an incredible performer and is so generous. And I think, we've had so many great conversations after both of our shows that it'd be really wonderful to.
I like that when you brought the paper, which give a plug.
Listen,
Give a plug.
I gotta do it.
Nothing wrong with that. Oh my goodness. By the way, how's the water situation?
I'm sorry?
Water, when we were doing something, you burst?
Oh, it's better. Yeah, thankfully. I was struggling. For folks that don't know, my water was doing some interesting things on Saturday. So
wow. Indeed.
You
got through it.
Things are better. Yeah, but I'm still drinking bottled water just in case, because they look a little suspect. So
yes, indeed. Okay. A lot of people want to get into this business. They want to be an actor. What do you tell
them? Go for it.
Go for it.
Especially when it's young people. I think there's something, I don't know. I think for a lot of, and I'll speak specifically about, people of color, I think a lot of times we are discouraged from the arts. I think a lot of times we're sort of taught or told that maybe those spaces aren't for us, that it won't make money. And I think the more important thing to remember is, will it make you happy? And so I think for me, yeah, I think it's important to pursue it full-heartedly and in good spirits, and also to keep good people around you and find people who will take you to task and keep you honest about your work ethic, but who will also support you.
I was going to say your family and friends definitely support you in what you're doing. Yeah. Education, again, like I said, you had a master's degree at Cal State University, Long Beach. That's my school. People, any chance of you going to go get a PhD? How high and deep, as they call it?
Ooh, possibly. I don't know. I've given some thought to it. I love school. So as somebody who really loves being in the classroom, I've thought about it, but I don't know in what yet. So
okay, I can see it now, Dr. Valles. Dr. Valles, I can see it. Oh yes, indeed. World situation right now, since we have a little time. World situation, because you see it every day. What is it? What's your taste on the world situation these days?
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of how the world is doing, I think we're at a moment of reckoning with in terms of thinking about even the show, right? I think as we hear so much about what's happening on the border, and not just the border here, but borders everywhere in Europe as well. I think there's a lot to be said about how we're reckoning with climate crisis and with immigration crises, and I think there's I think we still have a lot of unpacking and a lot of work to do when it comes to really understanding and seeing each other and being kind to each other, for the sake of survival.
Got you. If we go back a little bit, you did some poems that I thought was off the hook. Mexican Standard about a birthplace, Mexican Standard about a river. Tell us about that, please, sir.
Yeah, both of those poems were really born out of a deep desire to think about and honor this place that I'm from. So I'm from Juarez, which is it's a desert city, and for me, the Rio Grande, which is one of the primary sort of throughways that sort of marks or delineates, right, the border, really became an important part or fixture of my story. My mother used to cross that river all the time when she worked, when she lived in Juarez but worked in El Paso. My father crossed that same river too. So for me, honoring those two geographic locations really was important. And I wanted to talk about these places that I think we often hear about on the news, what we don't hear about in terms of its personal impact and its relationship to the people that live there.
You get a chance to go around to schools and other locations where young people are today and talk to them about what's going on as an actor?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I've actually traveled the show quite a bit to different colleges and universities. Mm-hmm. And so it's been really wonderful to share this story all over the place. Places like Carbondale, Illinois, or Appleton, Wisconsin, or Framingham, Massachusetts. It's been really wonderful to actually really connect with. There are so many people all over the country who have border stories, and they live in places we wouldn't think, and it's been really wonderful to share this work with them.
Indeed, because these are the kids of the future. They're the ones that's coming behind us. Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Do you like? Okay, you're an actor. Do you go to plays much?
I love going to theater. That is, I think it's strange because I think there's a lot of people who don't like to. There's a lot of people who do theater who don't like going to the theater, which I think is really interesting. But I do. I'm a big fan of going and watching any and every bit of theater that I can. Yes.
Indeed. That's a wonderful thing that on the show, you and I just meeting for the first time, but there's a bone that I have, everybody who knows me about this, with actors. This is a problem I have with actors. And that is, they'll come here to LA, Hollywood, they'll come here. They will do film. They will do television, but they won't do theater. Why?
Yeah. Yeah, that's such a strange like thing or such a strange bias to have, I don't know why.
Yes.
Why they do that. Because I don't know, I have such a tremendous respect for theater and the things that it asks actors to do, the challenges that I think it's a really solid muscle to stretch and to exercise.
Gotcha. You do sketch comedy?
I've written sketch comedy before, and I have performed in some sketch shows before when I lived in Austin. I have a collaborator. She's actually a writer on a Hulu show right now, but she did a show in Austin called Doper Than Dope, which was a tribute to In Living Color and House of Dope and so House of Buggin'. So it was like a tribute show to all of these 90s sketch comedy shows.
Yes.
And so yeah, I got to write on season 1 of that particular sketch show, and then I acted in season 2 of it. So
amazing. That education, this whole thing is about living in this world. Because again, you get up there, you do play like that. People can just reach out and touch you and say, "Oh, look at that." I myself like to go to plays.
Yeah.
Basically the same reason that you do. You want to see the actors because there is no take two in that field. It ain't. And you get up there with other people and what do you do? Here's one of my favorite questions. What do you do when you forget your line? What do you do?
Go back home and memorize. But if it happens on stage, I really, I try to really think about the circumstances of that particular scene and the circumstances of that particular character, and really return to like what I know about that moment in that particular piece of work.
Yes.
And I try to allow that to sort of guide me towards the intended text.
Yes. Okay. It's again, because a lot of people, and I don't know if I asked this question to another guy today. What do you tell these young people that want to get into acting? What do you tell them?
Yeah, I mean, I one of my biggest things is also, I think, asking young actors to really figure out what they do and what they do well and what's in their skill set, and think about, do you want to hone your skill set, or do you want to learn something new? Do you want to pick up new tools and techniques? And I think based on that, allow them to really think about also like, what networking kind of opportunities are you taking on? What are you saying yes to? What kind of projects feel like they are challenging you and feel like they're feeding you? Yeah, so I definitely am. I really like to encourage young people to really go for it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Over the years since you've been in it, there's been changes. What do you think about the changes?
Yeah. What do you mean by changes?
Okay, when we, instead of going 1, 2, 3, we do 1, 3, 2. It's done in different ways, different in what you do. And sometimes as an actor, you'll see this. You'll see a writer. You do writing. Have you written a play yet?
Yes. Yeah.
And you can see it as you're coming along. Yes, because that's great when you can put pen to pencil. Because in my job that I do as a professor at Santa Monica College, I always tell people the whole idea, the concept of what you're doing starts right here with an idea. Everything starts right there. And you take it from there. You take a piece of paper, pencil, and you write something. And then you go back and change. I don't like, let me do it again. And it's just when they hand the baby over to the director, you now see that, wow, look at this process. What's next?
Right.
Yeah. Have you directed?
Yeah, I've directed stage meetings before, and I've.
Thank you to say that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. As they always say, action. As a director, you get that opportunity to do that. Wow. You get that opportunity. There's so many in this business, like I said, I have this bone with people in the business, but I'm looking now as we come near the end of the year. We got the award shows coming up. You see anything good coming for some people, yourself included?
I don't know. I think I don't know. I don't often think a lot about like awards.
Yeah. You've won a few. You've
As
got
a
a few.
solo artist, it feels like you're also just sort of hustling for whatever the next gig is. So
Yes.
so I don't tend to think about it a ton, but I do think I'm excited for the things that I think will be nominated for the Pulitzer Prize in Drama.
Gotcha.
I think there's some plays that have really been outstanding. American Televisions by Victor Casares out of New York Theater Workshop. English by Sanas Tusi. I think all of these plays have a really strong shot at the Pulitzer. So,
did you say Pulitzer? Did you?
Yes.
My daughter went to school at Columbia University, and when she graduated, I was on the campus, and there was a building right there, and I didn't realize it until I walked inside. That's where the Pulitzer Prize originated at. Was Columbia University.
Yeah.
And there was the first award. I said, "Oh my goodness, look at that! I want to put my hand on it, just touch it." Oh, Pulitzer Prize! It don't get no better than Pulitzer in that business. My goodness! In fact, let's see. You said you're getting ready to head back to Rhode Island. You can play up there. You're gonna be doing some work up there.
I'm actually finishing my MFA in playwriting at Brown University there.
Say that again, would you please? MFA.
Yeah.
So now you got 2 masters.
Yeah.
Go get that PhD. Go get that Power High and Deeper. Go get it.
Yeah.
Yes. Like I say, Professor or Dr. Valles. I just run past him a few times. He'll say, this is what I want to do. That's what I got. Any special things you're looking forward to as we come into the new year, sir?
Yeah, I'm hoping for rest. I actually I want to be really intentional about resting and sort of trying to use the new year as a way to reset.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been a long year this year.
Yes. And do you do any work? Are there any stages of work that you can do in Rhode Island?
Currently, I primarily work with university. So I've been working with some of the undergraduate theater theater troupes that are at Brown University, and I've also done some collaborations with the Trinity program there. So I've gotten to workshop 2 plays with them, which has been really, really wonderful.
Super. That's one. I know a lot of schools have these theater programs. And it's great to see all these young people, men and women, doesn't matter. I want to be an actor, an actress. That's what I want to be. Let me be. And you get them up on that stage and they just do their thing. Wow.
Yeah.
Who is the biggest, the largest actor that ever came to see you perform?
I don't know.
That one.
I mean, I think like having Christina Wong and Tim Miller for this run has been really pretty outstanding. Just because, I remember being in high school and reading Tim Miller's work.
Yes.
And I, similarly remember being an undergraduate student and studying Christina Wong's work in class. And so it's been wild to see them there.
Jesus, I want to thank you very, very much for filling in the time that the gentleman who was scheduled to go, that was Pete Allman. One more time, can you tell us about your play? Where's it at? Who, what, where, when, and why?
Sure. So Undocuments is a solo show about migration and family. It is currently running at the Los Angeles Theater Center through the Latino Theater Company. We will close on November 20th. There are shows Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays at 8 p.m., Sundays at 4 p.m. Thursdays are $10 tickets, and the other nights can be $20 tickets with the code DREAMER. You can get your theaters at latinotheaterco.org.
Well, Well, Jesus, want to thank you very much for bringing marvelous information about you and your career. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, we're supposed to have a gentleman by the name of Pete Allman in here today, but before we get out of here, I want to talk about something that we've been doing. It's called TAC Roku. Could you please roll that? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, TAC Roku channel. For more information about us, please call us at 213-349-3941. That's 213-349-3941. Okay. Want to thank our guest today, actor Phil Idrissi, educator, storyteller, performer Jesus I. Valles. Okay. And of course, special thanks to our ever-growing audience. Be well, and we'll see you next time.